Rochelle at the Athlete Center. This video is going over some finer points of the overhead press and into the push press. So first thing that I wanted to talk about is sort of our lower half positioning. Now our shoulder press is generally an upper body, a shoulder exercise, but we want to be aware of what the rest of our body is doing as well. So we want to try and think about our rib cage staying stacked over top of our pelvis. As we move through the motion, we're not letting our bum move forward or back, or our rib cage move forward and back. We're going to keep this nice and stable through here so that our arms are generating most of the power. Now that'll change a little bit when we do a push press, but we're going to go over just a strict overhead press first. So this can be done with a kettlebell, it can be done with a barbell, and it can be done with a free weight. A free weight and a kettlebell are going to allow you way more free range of motion than a barbell. So I've got a couple free weights here. Now, one thing that I always recommend is think about every single lift counts. So when I pick these up, I'm going to pick these up with good form using a deadlift form. Okay, so if you don't know how to do that, you can check out our deadlift video. Otherwise, we might pick up one at a time, or we might put them on a shelf or something so that we can take them off at waist level. But if we're picking them up from the ground and they're fairly heavy, let's make sure we use proper form. So from here, we can start our overhead press here, 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 any angle of our shoulders that is comfortable for you. So with this, I'm not going to recommend a specific position. A lot of times you'll see people coach it out here, but this might not be as comfortable as something right here. That out to the side, this is our shoulders end range. So it's actually not as strong out here as it would be sort of in this range here. So for a lot of people, I'll recommend to kind of bring it in a little bit instead. Unless you're doing, of course, a barbell where we're gonna be stuck in this end range position. So we've got our dumbbells, and we found our range that we wanna go from. We're gonna inhale here, exhale, push straight up overhead. So we want to make sure that those dumbbells stay right over top of our shoulders. We're not going to push them forward like that. We're going to be most strong if we're stacked from top to bottom, which is not going to happen here and is not going to happen here. So we want to keep this stacked, and then we're going to drive that weight straight up over that stack as well. So going to inhale here, exhale, press straight up. Control back down. So you can see I've got my palms facing each other for this. Inhale here, exhale, back up. Now the next level of this is actually, it's a more complex move, but it actually makes the exercise easier. So if you're fatiguing with the weight that you've chosen, adding a little push press, so some help from your legs, can take some of the load off your shoulders and put it into your legs. So we're still going to maintain this nice stacked position here, but on the way up, we're going to load our legs a little bit and use that to help us come up. So push press is going to look like this. We're going to go down into a little bit of a squat and use that to push up. So I have the momentum of my lower body creating a press overhead. My finishing position is still going to be the same with my rib cage stacked right over top of my pelvis. But when we go down, we're going to sit into like a little mini squat and use that to push up. So that's a push press. And then just a strict press is where we don't use our legs, which can be done standing or seated. Seated is going to be the hardest version at the same weight.